Well, here we are. We're live.
Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. We are a little bit late because we were working out some logistical stuff from the goofs from last night, but that's okay. It's not YouTube if it's not getting screwed up somehow. it's
That's like
so
mine last night. It just like went black. And
did
I
it?
was
I
like,
didn't get a chance to
okay.
watch it.
Yeah, it was like almost done. And then the whole screen just went black. And I was like, okay, my phone didn't die because I literally bought like a new little doodad to plug all my stuff in. And I have a dedicated phone cord that my children can't steal. And it just went black. So I pressed home and I'm like, my phone's fine. And went back to YouTube and it was black. So I had to like restart a whole nother one. It didn't even let me like join back in the live.
That's very
So
strange. Yeah,
it's
sometimes.
just everything's being strange to me. And then I updated my phone and it's being worse. I'm just like, you know what? Apps are just making things difficult for people. They
Yeah.
don't want me to get popular. That's what it is.
Well, it's not just that. It's
Being mean.
it's being me. I found out that all this social media stuff is literally like in its infancy, and even though it works pretty well, it still has a very long way to go, and
Yeah.
which is also very encouraging because it means we're on the ground floor of something that's gonna one day blow up. But the ground floor kind of sucks because you have to build above your head.
Yeah.
Well, Nadine, welcome to our Friday night stream. We have some stuff to talk
Yes.
about. We have some some serious topics to discuss. We're gonna watch the newest Batman trailer because I have not seen
Oh,
it.
cool. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and so it's a spoiler free stream, just like much like the stream tomorrow night is spoiler free. So and so how was your week?
Um, I'm trying to remember. I guess good.
Yeah, I was about to say I
I mean, it wasn't completely terrible, so that's a plus. Yeah, just like work and whatever. That's
yeah.
it.
I didn't do a whole lot. I did a lot of editing, so I didn't do a lot of videos. Unfortunately, editing that nobody got to see tonight, which is really you love it when you try to do something. You're like, all right, I think it's good, and then it doesn't work. So,
Uh,
yeah. So, how's the family doing?
Good, good. I took the kids to Sky Zone today, so that
Oh,
was fun. Yeah, my daughter, her one friend went to a different school. So I messaged her mom the other day and she's like, oh, we'll go to Sky Zone. And I'm like, okay, cool. So definitely not a place for heels. I was only there once. And then I was walking on the squishy floor and I was like, oh, interesting.
yeah. No,
Because
it's
I'm not going to pay to jump because it's a lot of money. It was like $40 for an hour. And I had to
oh
buy a
yeah,
pair of
that I believe.
socks.
Yeah, absolutely, I believe that 100%.
It was
Boy.
$5 for an ice cream and a soft pretzel that wasn't very good, and they didn't have cheese.
That's not right.
She's
They
like,
at
"Oh,
least
we don't have the cheese yet," and I was like, "Okay, all right." And then my daughter's friend's mom, hello. She was
JT,
like,
what's up,
"Is the
buddy?
pretzel soft?" And I was like, "It seems like it's been in there since noon." So
So no. It's like going to a
no,
gas station and hoping to get a good product out of the shelf. Like, oh, I'll get 2 slices of pizza. I stumbled
yeah,
on this channel. Who dis? Well, we're focusing on her channel to hopefully see if we're gonna do a weekly flip flop. Stream on her channel one week and then my channel the next week. So make it fair. Um,
yeah.
I would like to jump into the more fun stuff right away because it's is this trunk 3PO, you fudger. It's long. I'll explain that later. What a dick.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. Well, it's not my channel, so solely. I'm not going to use too rough of language.
Oh, it's okay. I say stuff all the time.
Okay, well, here we are. The brand new Batman trailer. So we're gonna take a look at this.
Let's see what we got. It's supposed to be a murder mystery. I heard on the radio on the way home today.
Yes, the reviews are looking good. All jokes, but yeah, no, I know, dude. I'm just giving you a hard time. If I can't act like I hate you in the chat, then what am I gonna do with myself?
When that light hits the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning.
From your secret friend, who, haven't a clue. Let's play a game, just me and you.
This is about a king. And brothers to match. I'm just here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. I've been trying to reach you. Tell my part of this. Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Selena, don't throw your life away.
I can.
So just to kind of like back out real quick, here's some of the stuff that I've kind of had a little bit of concerns about. It's something to me that looks a little emo-ish. And so that's been like a little bit of a concern. I was like, okay, I get that Bruce Wayne is a darker figure. He's kind of a gloomier figure, but it almost feels like high school emo. And I'm like, I'm
just thinking even just that whole beginning and stuff, like I didn't get chills.
Yeah.
Like if like I'm excited, like I fucking love Batman. Like I've always loved Batman since I was a little kid. Like I used to watch this show on cable TV when it first came out at my grandma's house. Like I used to love that show. Was I like 3 or 4? And
yeah.
So that's like probably, the whole, like all of the movies and everything like that. Like when the first one came out and stuff like that. The animated series I watched, like I own it on DVD. I bought it unopened like a couple years ago, and people were like, how'd you find it unopened? I'm like, I don't know, on some weird shady website, but I got the product. Like it was like $80 for the whole series. But when I first heard about Pattinson being Batman, I'm like, and then just this whole first part, I didn't get like even his voice, it's like this. And it's you're supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Like
Jesus. I don't know what all that means, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some sort of code for something.
Yeah, a piece, candy, and silly face. I don't know.
And a lollipop, and one of those a candy and a wrapper.
It's so I don't have a problem with Robert Pattinson because it took me a long time to get past the Twilight series. Because
I mean, which he was good in, you know what I mean? A lot of people kind of like ran it into the ground. Like they were good movies and he was good in it. But
I have to be honest. I only like the last one, and it's only because the girl I was dating at the time, she's a huge fan, and I was like, oh, the last one had like action and stuff. Like, okay, they're all fighting each other. I'm like, that's cool. But I
read all the books and stuff.
Okay, so. Yeah, she did the same thing. Same thing with Harry Potter. I've never understood the Harry Potter craze. Too. I've read some of the Harry Potter books, but I could never really wrap myself around that. So I guess I'm kind of a layman's
it's all
on
good.
that.
I started with those when like before even it got big.
Yeah.
So
it's friends from the lollipop
I don't know. Let's watch the
We'll
watch the rest of it then and see what we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're gonna jump back into it. So I also wanted to break it up for copyright reasons because they get grumpy about that.
Oh, gotcha.
Take care of myself.
You need a friend of yours? I'm not so sure.
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
If you are justice, please do not lie.
Mr. Wayne.
What is the price for your blind eye? What are you doing?
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
You better stop your goddamn vehicle now!
Come on, Vengeance. Let's get in some trouble.
Lied to me, Alfred. We have those scars, Bruce. We need to save them. Here and now.
You just seriously scarred.
I mean,
Interesting.
I got chills with the logo at the end. That was cool.
Yeah.
Who's that chick?
Zoe Kravitz.
No, I meant
Yeah.
the character.
Oh, that's Catwoman.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
Like the only one that would talk to him that way. So she's playing Catwoman?
Yeah, I don't like the Bob style haircut or whatever you want to call that. Is that what it's called?
What one?
Her hair?
She had the bob. Did she have that? Was she that her walking with the bob wig?
Oh
And
no,
then she
yeah,
had,
she
like,
had the blonde wig, but she had the very short hair.
That's more like a pixie cut.
Okay, that's what it is. Thank you. Do you think they'll have an R-rated version? No, I don't think they will. I think it's only supposed to be
like PG-13. That's
Yeah.
usually what they like the first ones were. Were any of them are? I don't know if any of them were.
Every time Nadine hits that vape, I take a puff from a Marlboro. Solidarity. You know, I'm not knocking it. I like the vibe.
I mean, I'll give it a whirl.
I like the way the city looks. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything that's trying to shove certain ideals. It looks like it's just supposed to be fun, you know, and about the story. Are you sure? I don't, JT, that's a great question. I don't know. And I've I've heard it's super dark. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Well,
Yeah,
it's about his beginning. So he's brand new at this. He's just out of you know, trying to figure out, you know, the whole Dark Knight you know, vigilante thing. So he's
back from his training with Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul.
And being an emo boy.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know if we're gonna get to see any of that training. That's a interesting.
Well, we probably won't, because this is like just him being in Gotham and dealing with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who's the villain? I don't know who the heck that is supposed to be.
The Riddler is the villain.
Okay.
Yeah, no nipples in the suit. Blasphemy. Yes, we're definitely going to miss the nipples on the suit from I think it was made famous in Batman Forever.
It
the
was
first one.
wait.
No, I think maybe
no, 'cause Batman
Returns.
Forever was Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
It was
so
Batman and Robin. Wasn't it? George
No,
Clooney was the nipples one.
Batman Forever had nipples, didn't he?
Did Val Kilmer have nipples on it? I didn't think he did. Because I swear it was Clooney that got all of the like flack for the nipples.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it. Hold on.
Okay, let's get this all together here. See, and this is like the thing, like my son keeps talking about Spider-Man and stuff, and I'm like, I know a lot, but it's been repressed. Like I've not been. That's what I thought. GT just said Batman and Robin. I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm just like,
No,
my brain is just starting to.
I'm looking at a Batman Forever suit that's got nipples.
Oh,
Right here.
then why did they just give Clooney the shit for it? Or were the nipples more prominent in Batman and Robin?
John says George Clooney ended the nipples era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's nipples.
I can't see. I have a phone. It's small. I'm like, I need to
See?
Wait,
See?
I'll
See?
pretend this is a magnifying glass. Like, what?
Why did it not make it bigger on the screen? It zoomed in for me. Yeah,
It's
Val.
okay. Yeah, it's
Val,
just like
Val Kilmer has nipples. Hold on. Let me. What is? It was.
I mean, I would
Control?
think he actually does, but
Yeah, it's scrolling in for me, but it's
it's
JT
not doing
says,
it on the screen.
JT says zoom in. I am zooming in, dude. It's not doing. That's what she said. Shut up, dude.
It's okay.
Oh man, no! I swear it's got. What is going on up in here? StreamYards, what are you doing? See this? This is what I'm talking about. It's what I'm talking about. It doesn't.
It's okay.
StreamYards is going to StreamYard.
If y'all want to see the nipples, just look it up and zoom in.
I
But
found another one. Let's see.
Ryan, Ryan said that there's nipples.
That's George Clooney. Well, I mean, I wouldn't lie about man nipples.
No.
R2 says my ears are burnt. Did someone say nipples?
But man nipples are too. Man nipples.
Yeah, man nipples. R2 is actually the one that was on the stream with us that one time. So we had a great conversation. That's George Clooney. George Clooney again. Maybe what the controversy was because the final suit in Batman Forever was maybe it didn't have the nipples and the first one did, and that was the difference.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. What is that noise? Do you hear the whistling?
That's my furnace, or because I have
That's awesome.
radiators.
Batman Forever. We'll just type that. See what we get. What we get.
So sorry. It's the
you're
of the radiator.
No, you're fine. Yeah, see, there's Chris O'Donnell with nipples.
Yeah, and that was Batman and Robin.
That looks like Batman Forever. All right, we're not gonna okay, we're not gonna
let's
we're done with
move on.
Yeah, we're done with the man nipples, okay? It's gone way off track.
What do we got going on next?
So
what day is the Batman come out? Because I heard on the radio April.
It's April. They
said April on the radio.
It's out this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why the kettle's boiling. Yeah, that's why no spoilers. So this is gonna be fun. We are gonna take a look at something from The View because
I saw a post, but I didn't watch it. So
okay, yeah, we're gonna.
I know about it, but I've not seen it. So this will be interesting.
Did you know they make pills to make your nipples longer? Is that a thing?
I mean, I guess some people could use it. Or especially if you're nursing and you got inverted nipples.
I wouldn't know much about that in Artisa. Man, no more nipple talk. I knew I should have said this super chat.
We're still talking about nipples.
We are still talking.
I mean, we didn't stop. It's just it's still going.
Well, we were talking about
JT
Batman.
made the comments, and then we kept going.
It's hard to says.
Good to know.
My nipples are long enough. Nice.
Just long enough.
All right.
Okay, what we got? Who's this lady?
I don't know. I don't watch The View, but apparently this is a horrendous take.
Let's talk about your new book. It's called Allow Me to Retort, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution. Tell us about the book and why you wanted to write it.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do with this book is explain in layman's terms what Republicans are doing to the law. Because I honestly believe that if everybody understood it, they'd be as outraged as I am about it, and they'd be willing to do something about it. Mm-hmm. Look, folks, the law is complicated. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's not beyond the reach of most literate people, all right? It's not sending a rocket to Mars and making it land just so. It doesn't right? You can read. You can understand the laws that govern this country, and you can understand how Republicans are obviously trying to manipulate those laws to take away the rights of minorities, women, the LGBTQ community. You can see it all, and I try to explain it all in ways that people.
What? Trying to take away rights? He must be fun at parties. Yeah, he's got to be super fun. R2.
At first, I thought he was Kenan Thompson. like in some sort of costume. Like literally right at first, I thought he was gonna be like, "Yo, where are you?" And then I'm like, "Wait, that's not him." I thought it was a joke. And then I'm like, "What is this dude? What?" God,
Candy.
I think, like, I mean, I was also distracted by the hairstyle. I mean, good for him, and it's cool that he, can grow his hair that way, but he'd probably look better bald.
It's time for JT to take his nipple pills.
But who is this guy? Like, where'd he come from?
I don't know.
Why does he just have this book all of a sudden? This random person, like, is he famous on TikTok or something? All right.
I don't know.
And then he just like talk. He's not yelling, but he seems very trained. A lot of people like this seem trained to me, and I just see right through them.
Ryan is crossing the streams on multiple channels. Yes, no. We're doing an experiment to see if we're gonna alternate between my channel and Nadine's channel every other Friday. So that's why we're doing it this way. It's the only time we're gonna do it this way, but it seems to be something that we are going to be doing going forward. So next week it'll be on my channel only, and then her channel only. So he is friends with Joyless Reed. Yeah, she's such a harpy anymore. Yes, he is.
Harpy.
Oh my god. So we obviously
she used to be funny. I think back in the beginning, she used to be funny. And then, yeah. All right, let's see what this dude's got to say.
Yeah.
I can understand so that we can fight them.
I have to tell you, I loved this book very much. The first chapter, canceling trash people is not a constitutional crisis. Chapter 9, the taking of Black land, was another favorite of mine, and reverse racism is not a thing. I just think it's
What in the blue hell are the taking?
Where did he?
You go
ahead.
I
don't understand.
I don't either.
Where did these come? Where did these things? I seriously think, like, these days, and it's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling that literally people can just make shit up and say that these things are true, and people will fucking go along with it. Like, oh yeah, and you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's just the way that person is selling it, expresses themselves, and that's it. And that's why I said it seemed like this guy was trained. Just the way, like, his projection comes off, his wording, things like that. Like, I'm angry, but I'm not very angry. I'm only a little bit angry, but you got to buy this book because I got something to say. And then, like, I mean, hey, could he have some good points? Absolutely. But I think so many things is a lot of fucking fluff and very little fact these days. And because a lot of people, especially younger people, don't find joy in like researching. They don't want to research because they're like, oh, well, this is it. Like, this is just, it's on the internet, so it's true.
Yep.
And like, I always found joy in researching things when I was younger. I'd be like, oh man, well, what is this? Like, I'm going to go to the library and look it up in the damn encyclopedia. Or like, I used to read the dictionary. Like, I would think of words and look them up in the dictionary. And I was like, the discovery is so much more fun.
Remember when you had to cite sources in a book and like on a research paper for school?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Remember when you had
and
to
then
like,
you had to
hey,
handwrite it out.
Yeah, like, this is where I found this. Before I get to my side of this, R2, it's funny that the lady on the far right is a Republican, but doesn't ask more about what the hell he is talking about. Yeah. John says, yikes, Latoya Jackson wants her nose back. JT says that dude has been around for a long time. He is on CNN. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, big surprise.
And
there.
Shapiro and ABL have roasted him. Okay, ABL.
Gotcha. I don't pay attention to the news on either side.
Nope, that's why you are my counterpart in this, because you
Yeah.
don't watch the news, and unfortunately I do, but I have not seen this guy. This is the first time. I don't know who he is. First off, taking black lands? Like what are you talking about? I thought
who's taking it?
Yeah, I thought that the United States, white people took Native American land. Not isn't that the whole deal behind the the racism?
Exactly.
And why our whole entire system is still considered systemically racist? Which, look, I'm not going to say
Thanksgiving is bad. Hello.
Yeah, I know. It's Colonist Day or whatever. That makes no sense. Reverse racism is not a thing. No, it's just racism. It's
right.
It's not reverse of anything. It's just
so he's right there. He's actually technically right.
Yeah, he is right. I guess in a sense, it's
not a thing.
It's a warped way of saying it. That's a good point. Look at that.
He's technically right.
Yeah, that is why you are Normie Nadine. That's going to be your nickname forever now. We still have another 2 minutes of this, so let's see what this.
Let's go on with the Don King 2.0.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Fantastic.
So I live in Florida, so I'm like on ground zero of where all of this is happening. I'm out of my mind about the bills banning conversations about race and ethnicity and LGBTQ, just even mentioning gender identity in primary schools. But some will say, okay, so are you arguing for throwing out the Constitution? Should the Constitution be thrown out? What do we do? Is it a living document? Is it a sacred document?
Are you okay? Did you choke?
Holy! Hold on, I need a drink.
I need a drink, and mine's in the kitchen. It needs to be
This
strong.
bitch just came out of nowhere and was like, "Are you arguing that the Constitution get thrown out?" Whew. All right, now. Oh my God.
She said that I'm in ground zero in Florida. Ground zero
because people aren't allowed to talk about gender in primary schools.
Oh, see, okay, so
you shouldn't be. And then she starts saying, see, when I start getting frustrated, and my voice starts going, "Oh my God, I'm getting hot now." Whew.
It's getting hot in here. JT says, "Look, everyone, she supports Ukraine because she wears a t-shirt." What a joke. Yeah, absolutely. Go get your White Claw. Dude, you suck. I'm just kidding. He's a good guy.
I switched it up from wine because I was like,
oh no, he's saying I need a White Claw because apparently I'm a little YouTube, that's a joke. Please don't come after me.
I did choke. My throat hurts. Man.
the new DC supervillain Crane. Yeah, it does say Crane.
Wow, Crane.
So the argument over this is the dubbed "Don't Say Gay" bill. What it is,
and I know about that.
Yeah, and what it is that if a child confesses to a teacher or administrator that they are having certain inclinations or questions, it is the law. It needs to be the law that the school contacts the parents to include them in the conversation. The argument against this is that they have to do it within 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I think it's 6.
6 weeks is a long time.
Or is it 6 days? I think it's 6 weeks.
6 days.
I think it's 6 weeks. I think they gave them a 6 week time frame or something like that. And there were people who were complaining that was a problem. The thing is that if a child has questions, it is not a teacher's responsibility to talk about sexual issues pertaining to a child's preference, because a child should not have a preference, first off. And that's where I get grumpy about the fact that they want to teach gender ideology where boys can be girls and girls can be boys. That's confusing to children. That's something that parents need to deal with. And where my stance is, leave people's kids the hell alone. Leave them alone. Like, it's not
you're there to teach them. It's been elementary school. You're there to teach them you know, the things they need to know, or, you know, talk about, of course, you know, keep an eye out for bullying, you know, stuff like that, whatever. But anything like that is not, because outside of school, that teacher does not have a place in your child's life
And they shouldn't.
outside of school. And I, you know, I also, as far as clients go and stuff, I have teachers as clients. And this also, things like this, just this being in pertaining to talking to the children about these things, this is putting more on them that they don't need.
I would
So
agree.
the teachers don't want it, you know, just like now, just this past week, my kids were allowed to not wear a mask if they don't want to. But some kids, parents, you know, chose to. Some schools made them say, parents sign a thing like, I want my kid to. And they're like, the teachers are like, we can't be the mask police. Like, we're trying to teach. If the kid friggin' takes it off, they take it off. Like, I can't tell you, like, oh, your mom said not to take it off.
Yeah.
So it puts more on their plate to take away from them actually teaching. And I think that's actually the issue when you're pushing these things, like teaching them about gender, teaching them about this. That's not your place. Teach them how to write their words, teach them how to read, teach them how to add all this stuff. You're giving them too much, especially with like standardized testing and stuff too. They have enough. Leave them alone.
Kids are failing reading, mathematics, history, and they're being elevated to the next grade unprepared because in my opinion, as R2 says, teachers should be teaching reading, writing, science, history, and math. That's it. John says teachers do nothing about bullying. I was bullied in junior high, and thank God I survived my marriage. Ooh, John, sorry to hear about your marriage, dude. That's rough. No, you're right. You know, and teachers are
ill-equipped. And most of the time they don't.
And most of the time teachers are ill-equipped to handle bullying. They don't understand how to do it. You know, because they need to bring back home economics and shop class.
They do. They really those were fun ass classes too, man.
I love shop
class. They're taking a lot of, that's the thing too, they're taking a lot of fun out of stuff for these kids, because before all the coof stuff, I was actively in the PTA for my daughter. I didn't really get to do it for my son because all that happened, but there were times that we couldn't do things, especially towards the end of the year. Like, that's when we want to do things for the kids. And they're like, oh, well, we have, you know, PSSA testing. We can't do it this day. We can't do. That's the thing too. You're taking the fun away from things, especially very small kids and even the older kids. They need it too. What are you gonna do? An assembly on stuff? Like, assemblies were boring as shit. When you have like kids being like, don't do drugs, dancing around on stage, you're like, look at those idiots. Like,
well, I have a notorious story from high school where my friends and I evaded a school assembly. We snuck out a side door to the school that we knew was notoriously broken, so it didn't really lock well. And so we actually were going down the way, but the thing is that we were coming down the side of the school towards the front. And most of the time, there are administrators in the front waiting to stop people.
Yeah.
The Pepsi truck was driving out, and we start sprinting next on the other side of the Pepsi truck. And I remember this to this day. The guy driving the truck, he looks over and he sees us running, and he looks to the side, and then he sees us running again. He starts laughing. He's like, and he realizes that we're escaping to the parking lot, and we made it. We made it. He drove slow enough to let us run beside the Pepsi truck.
Oh,
and
my God.
We dodged class. There were 3 of us. It was so funny.
That's
the fact
best.
that guy, though, he was laughing his ass off. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
That's
it's
great.
just, I'm a firm believer that teachers have enough on their plates without adding more to it. You know, you're just talking about legal liability.
Yeah.
You know, if a teacher's talking to a student about their preferences of sexuality in elementary school, that sounds like a predator to me. That sounds like a child predator. Like, hey, little girl, like what is your, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
All
super.
right, let's see what this weirdo has to say after. I'll try not to choke.
Yeah, well, the fact that was your response though was classic. That's classic.
It's certainly not sacred. All right, let's start there. The Constitution is kind of trash. Now,
What in the hell?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The Constitution is trash. Okay. Yeah. Just the foundation of this country is trash. Probably the most prosperous country in the history of the world. We're gonna have to pound through this because this is gonna be really bad. I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell already.
I'm gonna comment. You don't got to stop if I make comments. It's
okay.
Well, let's just talk as adults first.
What did you say? It's what?
It's kind of trash.
Trash.
It was written by slavers.
Talk as adults.
Hold on. Even Joy Behar's like, it's kind of what? It's kind of trash. She's like, oh, trash. Okay. The fact that she looks shocked. I need to
trash.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's like, wait, it's what?
Colonists and white people who were willing to make deals with slavers and colonists. They didn't ask anybody look like me what they thought about the Constitution. They didn't say, oh, Jim, come over here. What do you think about this old Constitution? Well, massa, I sure don't like how you sell my children.
Oh my god.
I feel like I'm brain dead. I feel like my brain has turned to mush. I
think we're legit in the Twilight Zone. This is what is going on?
We're in the multiverse and somebody fucked up somewhere. Somebody fucked up. Somebody fucked something up and changed the timeline because this is fucked up. I'm gonna say this for someone that seems to hate this country so much. It seems like you'd want to move somewhere better, and it wouldn't be worth fixing.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why
you know
not?
why? I'm not gonna get irritated.
Go somewhere where there's no constitution.
Yeah. Go to Canada, like when they said that Trump was gonna get elected, and they didn't go to Canada.
Oh, but you know what? You can't say what you're saying now if you're somewhere else.
Well, you know what's funny is that it's harder to get citizenship in Canada than it is here. You have to.
Oh yeah, you have to like live there for a certain amount of time,
and you have to
before you can even be a citizen.
Yeah, you have to prove that you will be a productive member of society and not a drain on the society.
Yeah.
That's
because
not
at least it was years ago. Just because I get curious about things, and I was like, oh, well, what's it like to do this or go to this place or go to that place? And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, so you've really got to like know somebody to live with them, because you also like there was something where you can't just like live there and get a job. Like to get a job, kind of, you have to be a citizen. So it's like it's not easy.
Yeah, you have to provide your tax records, your financial records, that you will be a productive member of society. JT says he would not be free to speak freely if it wasn't for the thing that he calls. Yeah, absolutely. My whole entire goal, the reason I've started my own business, I've invested in a lot of early ventures and stuff like that look, are looking lucrative, is because eventually I hope to be able to buy a retirement home in Iceland, because it's a very quiet country. It's very how I kind of grew up in Colorado, very quiet, very small. And you have to prove yourself as a productive member of society for a minimum of 10 years before you can even input swamp ass enterprises. Yeah, it is. Before you can even actually have your application approved.
Yeah.
And there are special circumstances, but even after that 10-year mark for an average person, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has to approve your application. The actual Minister of Foreign Affairs has to stamp off on your application to become a legalized citizen of Iceland. It is 10 times harder than it is here. Like tenfold. It's nuts. But people want to scream about this country. But okay, we're gonna go back to this
Don
guy.
King 2.0.
Yeah, I like this guy. He's funny. He says, "Thank you for ruining my Friday night."
Say it to that guy right there, JT.
Yeah, he's ruining everybody's
He
day.
did it.
Because I think I'm
Boo.
pretty sure this came out today. So this is like legit.
This morning?
Yeah, legit this morning.
But I gotta say, man, this King George, he needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
My grandpappy used to say, "Ain't no taxation without representation for massa." Like that's not what happened.
Okay.
Right? This document was written without the consent of Black and brown people in this country, and without the consent of women in this country. And I say if that is the starting point, the very least we can do is ignore what those slavers and colonists and misogynists thought and interpret the Constitution in a way that makes sense for our modern world. That's
Do you want
the
to rewrite
starting
it?
line.
Do you want to rewrite?
Ooh, Joy's hopping in there though.
No, yeah, I'll give her credit. I'll give her
I
credit.
will give her credit on that. I will give her credit.
It looks like a peanut with mold.
No, you know how like potatoes get the fuzzy mold on them when they start growing the eyes out of them in the bag.
Yep. You just snorted on the street. Oh, JT, put your hands together for JT right there. That's great. He led into an awesome joke. That was awesome.
Oh my god.
I don't want to be the grump in the room, but there are literally to this date. This is an actual statistic too. You can Google 29.3 million people on this planet who are active slaves as of right now today.
Yeah.
Today.
Now, does that include like sexual slavery too?
Yes.
And I'm sure it's not all adults.
No. And guess where the majority is? Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Black people enslaving Black people. What are we talking about?
Well, and then that's the whole thing that a lot of people ignore is the fact that they were the ones sending them away from like rival tribes and stuff. Like they would, capture people and then be like, "Oh, these people are going to give me guns. Okay, take these dudes because I don't give a shit about them." Because I mean, it was basically, it was rivalry. I mean, that's what it was. It wasn't like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to send my kid over to this country." Some people did. They couldn't, they couldn't feed their kids and whatever. So they that's mostly what they traded for was weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because money didn't matter to people.
Hey, Amen, welcome, buddy.
Money didn't matter to them back then, so they wanted weapons. Like, you have a stick, I have a gun. Ooh, and then I'm gonna like take over your land. And it's because those people wanted the land.
They wanted resources. It wasn't the same thing. We don't have this current, system of monetary gain. And quite frankly,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it happened in this country with the Native Americans. They would conquer another tribe of Native Americans, and guess what they did?
Right.
They killed all the men, enslaved the women, and used them as. Unfortunately, human history. It's not nice. It's not nice. Human history is not nice.
This is the thing. People like to. There are so many people that like to put humans on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. And not recognize the fact that just because we have consciousness and some people have thoughts in their head, we're animals. Like, plain and simple, we are animals. So if you saw some fucking lions doing the same shit, you'd be like, "Oh man, look at him. Look at that lion doing that shit," and then taking all the, killing this other lion and taking all of his girls. Yeah, good for him. Then it's people, so it's bad.
Yeah. Well, you have to imagine that a male lion will, in fact, it will try to kill the young of another male lion, and the women, the female has to defend that, and if the male ultimately ends up killing the female because she gets aggressive, he doesn't back down. Hey, Dax is here. The fun may begin now.
Hello.
Trust me, we've been having a lot of fun with the view. They're probably going to copyright the crap out of this. John says slavery in Africa, the Middle East, the greatest ender of the transatlantic slave trade was the British fleet in the 19th century. The Brits were white. Yep.
You're right.
You're white. You're
Mhm.
100% right. It is what it is. But okay, let's continue. Let's see if Joy.
Come on, Joy, defend this Constitution.
I would actually like to see her stand up and maybe say something rational.
I want to see it. Let's see.
R2 says you missed the nipple talk, Dax. I forgot about that until now.
You can watch the replay. It's okay.
Yeah, you can talk. We can hear all about the nipples.
You write it?
I could, right? I could rewrite parts of it in a tweet, right? Like, how about popular election for the president? People vote, not land.
No.
That's not even in there, is it?
I'm saying
Yeah,
if I was rewriting it, we could do it in a tweet, right?
Yeah.
You know,
term limits for Supreme Court justices. And how about no states' rights when it comes to healthcare, elections, policing, and guns?
Right.
It's just better.
I'm sorry, what?
You can do that.
I'm sorry, wait. Did he just say no states' rights when it comes to policing, elections, and guns?
Mm-hmm.
So that just means federal takeover.
Pretty much, yeah. Which defeats the fundamental essence of the United States, because we are a.
But I bet he is mad at Nazi Germany, right?
Yeah, probably. R2 said,
Yeah,
did you say you're white? No, I said
no,
you're right.
not at all. Yes, he did.
I did. I'm super racist, guys, and I need to be canceled. So immediately, please.
I can't. I could rewrite the Constitution in a tweet.
Popular.
Have you heard about amendments? First of all, apparently not.
Nope.
And then
you mean the
you
Bill
go
of
to
Rights?
say that you want the federal government to control the entire country.
From the top down.
Oh my God! This just keeps getting better and better.
Why are people clapping to this?
They put the clap sign up. The little thing.
Oh, no, they so do. It's the Cotton Candy Head guy is possibly.
I think so. That's why I said I thought he
Dr.
was.
Ryan Canelo, trust me, I know Ryan Canelo's is in a world of hurt right now. I watch Geeks and Gamers. That's how I started my journey towards this. So
all right.
Yeah, first off, popular vote for the president is crap, because no, we have a constitutional republic. It makes so that the popular centers as cities don't overflow and steamroll the rural areas, rendering everybody's vote null and void. Popular vote is not a good thing. It is not. It's mob rule, essentially, and the founding fathers knew this. And later on, as the country advanced, they knew this. Secondly, the states have rights because popular vote for anything federal is stupid. I'm not going to argue about the term limits for the Supreme Court or the legislature. I can get behind the term limits, because Nancy Pelosi is basically Skeletor walking around in vodka form.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's how she gets up in the morning to get motivated, and she gets her face on by drinking a bunch of vodka, and it energizes her.
It energizes her.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get the motor kicked up. You got to.
What she got? She got the original Four Locos in a stash, and then dumps vodka into them. I'm telling you, she got it.
You mean the ones that used to make people bounce off the walls,
hallucinate and shit?
Hallucinate and
I had them before.
Almost have heart attacks if you
I
had too
didn't have
many.
a heart attack. Just
I heard
just went into the woods and shot some guns at 2 a.m.
I heard there were people who had severe heart palpitations and stuff by having too many.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, especially that was before that's when Red Bull was pretty much the only energy drink that was out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't drink energy drinks.
No.
So they didn't have them in their system, nor did they do Jaeger bombs or cherry bombs and stuff like that. So their bodies didn't know how to handle it. And especially like, younger kids, maybe 19, something like that. They're like, oh, this is the cool thing to do. And then, they pound them.
Yeah. I had
if you drank like 4, like I had 2 and I was like whacked and I was
screw you up.
I don't know. Was I like 29 at the time?
It'll mess you up.
That was in a different life. I'm actually going to be 25 on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, you definitely don't look older than me. So you definitely have an argument there. So you could at least be like, oh yeah, late 20s, early 30s, because I'm 36, so fuck it.
Yeah.
And lastly, like it's the job of the states to offset, as we were just talking about, the federal government, because top-down control. Our country has 333 million people in it. The federal government doesn't understand who all of us are. Like Florida is different than New York, and Arizona is different than Massachusetts. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right. So that makes so if you say like the federal government should take care of everything, that basically completely eliminates state legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't talk to each other.
Nope.
So they don't know anything.
Nope.
It's basically saying like you want to be controlled by a corporation and have,
or an
a
oligarchy.
CEO and whatever. Yeah. Exactly.
Like I said,
and I've worked in corporate America. I know how that works.
Yeah,
I think you're all the same.
I mean, I work for the government, and it's run poorly, very, very poorly, very, very poorly. And I've been a federal employee for a long time.
Buddy.
So
right, let's see what the rest happens here.
Yeah, we got another 25 seconds. Let's see how he ends.
25 seconds.
Can't
Okay,
the amendments help some of that?
Well, here's the problem with the amendment process.
Really fast now. I got 20 seconds.
The problem with the amendment process is that in American history, there have been 115 people allowed to interpret what the amendments mean. 108 of them have been white.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Well, you are certainly a compelling guest. I must say. Isn't he? Fantastic. Elie Mystal is his name. His new book, Allow Me to Retort.
Oh, he just gave Joy the death stare. He was like, fuck you mean, bitch? Yeah, because she called you out. I mean, hey, props to Joy on that one. Oh, and then when he says 100 and some people are able to interpret the amendments.
Yeah.
Well, because you can't read cursive? Or what? I mean, I it's available in print somewhere. You can clearly see it. I mean, on my back porch, I have the Second Amendment right there, and it's clear as day to me. So I don't know.
I don't understand where he's trying to go with this, because the Bill of Rights is something that is very, very, very prevalent. It is something that it's shared by everybody. Yeah. I mean, literally, I think it's the 14th Amendment is the one that yeah, JT says
I can't look things up because I'm on my
no.
Here.
Yeah, no, I know.
I would love to. I need to like have a separate device to look things up now.
Well, I'm running off 2 computers, and it's a complicated thing. Or I would have installed my soundboards already, because I don't want to pull things apart, because when you do that, they don't always go back together.
They don't.
The Bill of Rights is something that like literally no other country on this planet has. Like there are many constitutions for other countries that are modeled after our own. Like, what are you talking about? Like, literally, what the hell is he talking about? Like, so it makes 0 sense. 0 sense.
He's using buzzwords.
Yes.
And he's using that whole speak of when he was, talking like I feel like him speaking like an oldie time slave is patronizing.
It's absolutely patronizing.
I would feel patronized. You know, like I don't understand why, like what like what is the reason for digging up old things when we have so many things that we need to work on now? And that's the thing, where it's a diversion. It's a diversion to keep you or keep people from looking forward and seeing what the future can bring. It's like, oh, but you know what? What about what happened 200 years ago? It was 200 fucking years ago. Like, but then you're going to be the same type of person who's going to be saying, like, in a relationship, like, oh, well, that shit happened last week and I'm still mad about it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's like contradicting.
I have to be honest, as somebody who has a background in law enforcement, these people act like an abuser. They abuse you, and then when you give in, they say it's okay, you did really well, and then later on they come back again within usually just days, a week. They say it's not good enough, and they abuse you more to push you forward to where they want you to go. It's literally it's literally emotional abuse and manipulation, but in a mainstream form, and it's coming from the media. It's gross.
Yep.
Like
it really, really is.
It's just horrendous. It's horrendous. As we're approaching the hour mark, we will JT says, do we need to set up a give send go for a new PC? For me? No, or does he mean you? She usually uses she usually uses an iPad or a phone. She got kids, man. So she's you know,
I don't have on my phone.
Yeah, I don't have kids.
I do
so
have a MacBook, but it's very old and it doesn't really work anymore. So it's pretty much a charging port. So I was like, oh,
well, you know what? Hey, people do live streams all the time on their phone. This is we were talking about geeks and gamers earlier.
And my phone's an 8+, just so you know. Like I don't got new shit.
I still have my 11, and they've been asking me to upgrade, and I'm like, I don't want to upgrade. Before the 11, I had a 7, and before that, I had a 5. That's who I am. I'm that guy who holds onto a phone for years until it literally has nothing left in it. When I turned my iPhone 5 in, the guy was like, he took the Otterbox off of it, and he's like, I'm surprised this phone lasted so long. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the iPhone 5s had a tendency for their battery to swell and explode. Oh. And he's like, and he took the box off, and he's like, yeah, your phone case was the only thing that was holding the battery inside the phone still because it had swollen. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, you had something in your pocket that could literally explode at any time, and the phone case was keeping it together.
Well, hey, props to Otterbox.
I've bought them ever since. I believe it was the Holland Descent Against Segregation and Plessy versus Ferguson. There are no second-class citizens. There's not. There are no second-class citizens in this country.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything. And he said, "Oh, it's bad against women and people of color." And there is absolutely nothing that says white men. There's nothing that says it is so non-specific about anyone everywhere in every single part of it. And the reason why people like this like to tear it down is because it's so perfect. And that's why. And there's like an ideology that well, how could people just like when people were like, oh, how could the pyramids be built because of all these people and whatever like that, how could these rich white men come together and actually come up with this perfect ideology? I don't know, because it just happened.
Well, and the thing is too is that they bash, and I'm like, well, they own slaves. Okay, they were a product of the time period. You know,
right? And that's another thing. Like, okay, so everybody did.
Yeah.
So, 100 years from now, if people are mad that, there were people wearing Nikes, and you're gonna be like, oh, well, my grandfather was a fucking asshole because he fucking wore Nikes or bought Yeezys. Like, so dumb.
Yeah, it's really dumb. I honestly think we're in a cultural revolution. R2 says I still have an X, which is a 10. I'm sorry, those things were like glass; they would break all the time. By Samsung, I've had an Android. I prefer the iPhone. Daniel says, "Hey Nadine."
Hey.
And R2 says the grift is strong. So we are going to end with Ukraine briefly. I know that
okay.
Every race has owned slaves at some point. Absolutely.
That's true.
100%. We were talking about the fact there are 29.3 million slaves on this planet to this current day. JT, actually a very small percentage of people own slaves, only the elites. Yeah, it was the elites. It was the elites. But right. The founding fathers were elites and stuff like that. And so that's where they get grumpy about it. It's funny when you hear the elites of today talking out about against slavery, and then you see like the Met Gala and crap like that where they're all in their fancy beautiful clothes, and then of course you see the people who work at the Met Gala, they're all standing on the sidelines masked, where the elites are not wearing masks, and it's like interesting. How times have changed. Oh wait. So moving forward, I want to finally, because there's a lot of discussion about how we move forward from this crisis in Ukraine, and there is a lot of talks about the facts that the elites and Ryan Cannell's family, that Ukraine can actually pull this off, because there are reports going around. Daniel says some would know it nowadays. All people are considered work slaves. They're at jobs and hate.
Working poor.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. Going forward with Ukraine, obviously Russia's in a tough spot because they called the West bluff. I see you, JT. They called the West bluff because we looked very weak. And so Vladimir Putin basically went into Ukraine because we had not stopped him before when he carved off parts of it, Crimea and stuff like that, Georgia, and made aggressive acts towards that. Of course, the war in Ukraine will soon be over. Electronic Arts has removed all Russian teams from FIFA and NHL. That will solve it. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
People pouring their Russian vodka down the drain.
Oh my God. I saw something about Pennsylvania, like I don't know, they were going for Governor Tom Wolf to like call for Russian vodka being removed from the shelves, and then like on Facebook, and then people are like, but it's already purchased.
Yeah. You buddy, you dumbass.
It's already purchased. So that makes no sense.
It's all
a show. It is all just if you think about it, all of this stuff is the same as like a small town and so saying, well, I don't like this person, so like I'm not going to hang out with them, or they wear this, so I'm not going to wear that anymore. Like, and it all boils down to the tiniest little things, yet so many people are making it so much bigger when it's really not that big. Everything is really this big.
It's cheap. It's a cheap it's a cheap act. And what would really cripple the Russians is if the United States stopped buying 600,000 barrels of oil a day from Russia.
That's what I keep seeing people saying. Yeah.
If Joseph R. Biden had kept Keystone XL greenlit, we would be pumping our own oil and natural gas, to where we import 600,000 barrels of oil a day from Russia. Keystone XL was said to produce 860,000 barrels a day, what we could have done with the excess is, guess what? Sell it to Europe, who now Germany. I can't believe I'm saying this, that Germany is leading the charge, saying no oil from Nord Stream 2. We will not buy your oil and natural gas, which they need. And literally their price of gas has doubled
Wow.
because they said no, and immediately within days, boom, it doubled their cost. So now Germany, after listening to Greta Thunberg, how dare you? They were going with the all green initiative, and they were subsidizing it through Russia. And so now what they're doing is they're actually scrambling to start to finish unfinished natural gas pipelines that they had previously were doing, because now they realized that to cut Russia off at the throat is to stop buying their number one export, which is oil and natural gas. It's absolutely psycho. It's psycho. Like, because Jen Psaki was asked, it's like, are we gonna green light are we gonna green light Keystone XL again? She's like, well, it was never operational. We hadn't even finished it, so we need to find a different way of going forward. It's like, I don't care if it was, she said 8% complete. I don't care if it was 2% complete. Is it closer than the next alternative?
Their different way of going forward is continuing what Obama had started and getting rid of all the old cars that are out there that you can't fix yourself, and buying electric cars and relying on that. So then you spend more money in the long run over all this stuff because they have a stake in the solar stuff and electric cars.
Well, you're definitely partially right. That's not the sole. So what we have to do, and I listened to somebody who's a basically a climate scientist about this, and he has an opposite perspective that I usually did. So what he said we need to do, and I listened to him on Joe Rogan, is that we need to offset renewable resources like solar, wind, which is already installed. And we need to offset it with new technology like geothermal, or subsidize it with the massive updates in nuclear technology. Because even though everybody's like, oh my God, nuclear, the nuclear power plants in this country were built in the 1970s. The 70s. There were no cell phones in the 70s. Do you think how far cell phones have gone since then? Like, we have a way of doing nuclear to where the nuclear output is actually, it's like less than it's a barrel of toxic waste a year, because they have refined the nuclear process so much. But we also need to look into geothermal, because geothermal is plunging a tube deep down into the earth about 1,500 feet, dumping in water to create steam, and it turns a turbine, much like hydro does. We have
just to make your own geyser.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, I mean, we have the Hoover Dam. We have the technology in place to offset all of this. So if the renewable resources, like they did in Texas, a year and a half ago, go down, we have something to back it up. And then, of course, when the backup is not needed, the renewable resources can store the energy, and we can subsidize ourselves. I'm not saying that gasoline is going to be hard pressed to ever go away, because there are not enough rare minerals on this earth to continually make the electric car components as they stand right now. That's why electric cars are so expensive. Obviously, human innovation, like with cell phones or computers, we're always moving forward, but we have shackled ourselves in the worst way. We've kneecapped ourselves, and so is Europe. So this is it's a standoff with Russia to see who caves first. And unfortunately, we have a president who's saying, well, we're not going to cut off giving money to Russia just yet. Also, at the same time, we're trying to cut a brand new Iranian nuclear deal, which we needed for the last one under Obama. We needed Russia and China to intervene to bring everybody to the table. I said a lot, and I apologize, but this is
it's okay.
I know a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of different.
Like, taking it in and listening.
We have, with foreign policy is as important as domestic policy. If you are weak on foreign policy, you think that everybody is going. It's like getting into a relationship and thinking that the person you're dating is going to reciprocate, is going to give as much as you give, is be there for you as much as like that's unrealistic. You just don't know.
Exactly.
And that's the way foreign policy works. You can't expect like the Russians or Chinese to be like going, oh, well, you want to make a deal. So, okay, cool. We'll make a deal. And then, of course, later on down the line, they expect them maybe not to knife you in the back.
Well, and it's also because no matter how much people want to believe that like everybody in the world is the same, we're not. Like, we all have different ways of life. We all have different ways of dealing with things. So like you mentioned it as in a relationship. So, if someone who is from the US is going to get into a relationship with someone who's like, let's say, Korean, your ideologies are going to be different. You can meet on some aspects, but you're never going to completely meet on everything all the time. So going into these things blindly, and I think a lot of people who have big mouths but don't know exactly what they're talking about just get so much fuel these days because of online, because they don't know what they're talking about. But like I said before with fluffy hair guy, like they use certain trigger words and ideals and stuff like that. Like I said, it sounds like he was trained. If you were just a person who wrote this book and you're just like bringing it out there, you're not going to be as wordy and saying the things that you did. So it's very touchy. It's always been very touchy. It will never not be touchy. So it's tough now because you definitely need, and then you think about it this way, I was going to say, you definitely need tough leaders. In every country, you need a tough leader. You need somebody who's going to stand strong, believe in their people. But then when you get a bunch of tough people together, not even in a room, just trying to make deals together, you're not going to, like, think about it this way. If like everybody in your school it's all high school, like everything's high school. But if you get everybody together who's like the leader of each freaking gang, do you think they're all going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I guess we're going to just like let you go, buddy? No, because they all want to be the top one. And that's the thing.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Listen, I grew up in a family where my dad talked about war. I had to watch war movies when I was 10 years old because he went to the video store and bought whatever the hell he wanted. So here's me in 4th grade. They're like, what's your favorite movie? When you had to write it on a little paper to like people to get to know you. And I'm like, Universal Soldier.
Oh, I was going to say like Saving Private Ryan, which is like super gory.
No, because that didn't. Oh, wait, but that would, if I was 25, that's what it would have been. But yeah.
Fair enough. JT says, we're just going to catch up real quick on the chat. His high school politics, which we just went about. This is like, 10 minutes ago. I got work tomorrow. Got to go. Thank you, Nadine and Ryan, for a great show.
Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Thanks for hopefully you can catch that with the replay. Daniel says, been watching a lot of war movies recently as well. Not sure if that's good or bad. Laugh Out Loud, Fail Safe, Watchmen, Ladybug. I've never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, I've not heard of that one.
I'll have to take a look. Dak says the bipartisan Cameron bill is on the floor in the House and Senate to end all imports of Russia energy. Even Pelosi supports it. God, I hope so. R2 says Biden, back in my day, Corn Pop would just sweat out his own natural oil, making it like gasoline. Daniel says we're at DEFCON level 3 again too. We haven't been there since Obama. We're definitely not doing very well. Dax says molten salt nuke. That's right. It is. It is. It's used
Ooh,
with.
I've
Yeah,
not heard of that. I may
it
have to
is
look
used.
into that.
Yeah, it's used with salt water now. He is correct. I did hear that.
Ooh.
It creates less than a Coke can worth of waste per year and is incredibly efficient. Yes, I knew it was a can. So maybe it's a can, not a barrel, a year. But basically, they said for like a 100-year decade or something like that. 100-year decade, 100 years that like it would create less than a basketball court worth of waste or something like that. I can't remember
Nice.
which. Yeah, it's all right, everyone. I have to run. Take care and have a good night. See you, JT. You're
Bye. Thanks for
awesome,
coming.
dude. Cannot fly freight on electric. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're eventually gonna advance. Daniel says, what about the tech Air Force government has we don't even know about? Anti-gravity tech. I'm sure that they have forms of fuel energy we don't even know about as well. I would imagine that they do, because I do believe that we are not the only beings in the universe.
Magnets.
It's well, if you believe the Nazi bell was created anti-gravity, but the Nazis were ahead on a lot. No records, just blueprints. Nadine going with the mail order bride example. Of course, I'd look at a mail order bride from Ukraine before all this broke out.
About it that way, but if you want to think of it that way.
It's crazy how we went from the best president in our lifetime to the worst. Yeah, absolutely. Look, there are people who are going to say Trump wasn't the best. Look, that's fine. But we can all agree that Biden is by far the worst president in U.S. history, because he's the only president who has managed to screw our economy in this country up, that did not inherit it. Like when you think about some of the worst examples, you think of like, okay, Abraham Lincoln was elected president during an active revolt and secession civil war, and that's not his fault. He didn't do that.
No.
He didn't do that. Like literally everything. They could have opened the economy. Everybody starts. Everybody go back to your lives.
Who's the one that they said was the worst president? Like when I was in high school, who was that dude that was elected president from Pennsylvania, and he was like terrible, and like nobody knows his name really?
Isn't it Hoover?
No, it wasn't Hoover. It started with a B. He was like just god awful. Like people don't even know how he got elected, and they were like, he's
Not
some
Hoover.
like nobody even like knows who he is.
No,
but it was like, oh, he's a president from Pennsylvania, and everybody was like, oh man, sucks to be that guy. And now Biden's worse than that guy.
Yeah, I think Lyndon B. Johnson. I think it's Lyndon
That's not
B.
him.
Johnson.
I've heard that he was. Oh, I got to plug this in.
You're good.
I definitely heard that he was bad, but no, it's some guy from like the freaking, like he might have even been like from like the 1800s or something.
Worst U.S. president.
No, just look up president from Pennsylvania.
Buchanan?
Yes!
Buchanan. Yeah. I knew somebody in the chat would get it before.
Like, it was like he was like the worst president ever.
Like, R2 says Lyndon B. Johnson is from Texas. Okay. Interesting. I've heard Lyndon B. Johnson because he was very, very like almost socialist progressive, and he instituted a lot of social programs, which was really, really bad.
That stuff, just like terrible, just like didn't do shit. Like
I'll have to look this guy up, because I know the name, but
worst. I remember that from high school. Like,
okay, look at that.
People were like, "Oh yeah, we had a president from Pennsylvania, and he was awful." One of my high school history teachers, I think like 9th grade. I don't know, but yeah, look him up.
Yeah.
He's even worse than Buchanan.
Amin Fate says Buchanan. Yeah, so he's confirming it too. So I'm going to say Buchanan. I'll have to, after the stream is over, I'll have to read about this guy, because that's interesting.
Yeah, read about him and then compare.
Lyndon B. Johnson started the decline of the black family. I would believe that, yeah, because one of the big things that declined the family for black people is is and social welfare, just
Uh-huh.
throwing money at the community thinking it would fix it and not focusing it. I'm all for centers, but and reaching out to make the community better, but you have to do it through the community. You can't overstep the community. If I were to take my white ass into a underprivileged community and they don't know who I am, they're gonna be like going, dude, piss off, cracker. Like, they're gonna be like, get out of here, white guy. Like, what are you doing? You need people from
well, it's the same idea, like I said before, with the shows in high school, and the assemblies in high school. That's what it feels like to people. You can't just chuck somebody into a community and be like, oh yeah, guess what, guys, this is what we're gonna do. People are gonna be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, who are you?
Yeah,
you can't come into these small communities and think you're gonna change something as an outsider, because they're gonna go, you don't know anything about us.
No, and you also can't just talk to somebody who is in that community and just be like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. You really have to be a part of that community, anywhere. You really do. And I think that's one thing that is missing. It's probably because of the internet too, because you have to get to know people. You have to sit somewhere. You have to go to places where people hang out, and you have to learn about people and make friends. Just make friends with people. It's that simple. It's just make friends with people, get to know people, and then when you start to be accepted and then you start to get into it, then that's when change happens. You can't just drop a bomb on people with information and be like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. It doesn't.
No, throwing money and resources at people, it doesn't work. And I think the only way to, and we'll kind of close on this, the only way to, I think, move forward for the betterment of this country is to get together with prominent leaders from communities, and churches, and community centers, and people who talk to people who talk to the community on a daily basis. Go to those leaders of the community and work with them, and that you can figure out how to best use the resources to help that community. Because if you eliminate the crime in that community before it happens, the hardship, you fix the problem. You can't fix the problem after the crime. You still need police to fix the problem of the crime, because there's always going to be crime everywhere. But you need to help put people on the right track before they go down the wrong way. So,
well, it's just the same as when they say, you need to work on yourself, and change happens from the inside out. A country is the same as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to work on the inside out. And when you neglect those small areas and you neglect people and who they actually are, and like you said before, when we were talking about federal taking over and they don't understand. When you neglect the inner parts of a whole country, that is when you have complete disassociation.
Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping that going forward that conversations like this, and the fact that less and less people are watching the media and starting to come to YouTube for real people with real conversations, I'm hoping that it'll set this world on the right path.
Absolutely.
Because it takes real conversation. You can't just scream into Twitter and be like, oh, it's their fault. Like, okay, whatever, dude.
Because there's shouting into a void only fills a certain part of like what you have going on, but actually associating with people, and even if it's not, you know, face to face, which would be better, like way better. Like I absolutely enjoy face to face like way more, but you know, just having like, even though we have, you know, we have people commenting, like I like to hear the things that people say, and like even on my channel when like nothing's really going on, like I might be doing makeup, but I want to hear what you got to say. You know, like like let's talk about things, but I don't have a direction. So, and that's the thing where, you know, we have to get more people to stop, first of all, looking up their own ass and like get into just a community of people who just want to say things. And like, if I'm wrong, okay, I'll admit that I'm wrong, or if I'm incorrect on something, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh no, well, whatever, I said it and that's right, because that's just stupid. And that's what most of the people in mainstream media do. They go out there and they say their shit. You know why? Because they're getting fucking paid.
Yep. 100%.
Right.
Daniel says that's why they hate Rogan. He's just asking questions. He's a real dude and not telling anyone what to think, but more how to think and think critically. Absolutely. Why? Sure. What? He's Khan says, why? What? I want to see the nipples. Yeah, we were talking about Batman's nipples, so it's not that exciting. They were Batman's nipples, so it's not as exciting.
Oh, and
dude.
on
Sorry.
the suit, not his actual nipples.
Yeah,
because
on the suit.
Can't show them because that would show that he was Bruce Wayne.
It's true. A spoiler alert. Bruce Wayne is Batman, by the way.
Spoiler, if you didn't know.
In case anybody didn't know for the new movie this weekend. Well, we are going to close this out because we're at an hour and a half. So this was a good discussion. I think, you know, moving forward, I like this style. So I think we're going to start flip-flopping between channels. So subscribe to Nadine's channel, Multifaceted with Nadine, and subscribe. I can't even talk. What is going on? And subscribe to my channel where you can see us every Friday as well, every other Friday as well. Legion Wire. So that is yes. Nadine, it's been awesome as always. This was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And thanks for ruining it for me, Ryan. Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Dax says I want to do a constitutional panel. You know what? One day I think we could scrape up a few people to talk about the Constitution. Who doesn't love America? So I'll you and I can discuss that in the future, Dax.
I'll procure my scroll.
Yes, and make sure you bring your large feathered hat. I thought Tony Stark was Bat. I thought Tony Stark
I got this, so we're on our way.
That's awesome looking. You got a quill. Yeah, it's got a quill.
Awesome. I didn't use it yet. I have to use it.
She's like, I'm ready to sign my John Hancock.
Hell yeah.
Which you know, it's ironic. A lot of people don't know that the signature is called the John Hancock because John Hancock wrote his signature on the
biggest
night. Yeah, Archie says night, Nadine and Ryan. I appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are the best, and we will definitely see you again in a week, same time, and on my channel this time, Legion Wire, and then the following week will be on Nadine's channel. So see you guys. It's always fun talking to y'all, and
Thanks for coming, guys.
see ya.